And good morning. Welcome to the Cornbread Man Morning Show. Running just a tick behind. Uh, Overslept a little bit. Still feeling the effects of allergies. And not that that matters to you, just that it's a fact. So it's running a little bit. I just slept through the alarm a little bit early on this Tuesday morning, September 23rd, in the year of our Lord 2025. Glad to be here though, and I hope you're kicking your Tuesday already, getting ready to get out into the world and make your mark. You know, make a difference. Do something that makes increases value for yourself, your family, others. Invest yourself into others. Make sure that they know that you care about them. Some people when we may not like it. But some people are riding along with us, and they see that we're okay. It kind of makes the world okay. It's a visual strength that they have in you. They miss you when you're not around. They believe in if you tell them it's okay, they kind of believe it's okay. You may say that's not fair. That's just the way it is. People, some people are just that way. They just need somebody to tell them that it's going to be okay, and they will. If you kind of lose it, they kind of lose it because they sort of look to you for guidance. That's why some people are leaders and some people are, I don't want to say a follower in the way that you're following man, but you lead others and they look to your leadership. And it could be your family. If your kids are looking to you and you're saying it's going to be okay, it's going to be a good day. There's a confidence they have in that side, in that if they see you not really with it, they see you kind of falling apart. They they worry. Then they believe that we shield them from stuff, and they may sense something, but they can't really place it. They're looking at you, and you're projecting strength, and you're saying it's going to be okay. In a way, the world does that with the United States of America. They look at America as that great place of freedom and strength. And if we say it's bad, then they're going to believe it's bad. If we say it's good, they're going to kind of ride with us. A lot of them, not all of them. There's 190 nations on the face of the planet. A lot of them look to America. That's why so many of them, they look to, they receive the president. They want to know. Yeah, they're looking for stuff sometimes, but they're looking for strength. They're looking for security. Again, and we get aggravated with that sometimes because of what that entails. But they definitely look to America. You take a little bitty nation out there the size of, I don't know, a Maine or something like that, or even smaller, and they're looking at the American might, and we tell them it's going to be okay. Somebody, it's like NATO. You mess with you, they mess with us, and it gets us into some stuff sometimes, but it keeps some others at bay, and they're like, well, I better not mess with them. If I do, I'll be in trouble. So, you might be that for somebody this morning. You might be that person on the wall that's telling others it's going to be okay, and they're riding with you and they believe it. Coworkers can be like that. If you show up and you're doing your job, they look for it. They look for you to come through the door. They like you. If you're not there, it's kind of a bummer of a day. They're like, "What's going on?" I thought that I missed my friend. We take breaks together, or we chit chat throughout the day, or we work well together. I have to work with somebody else today. I don't have the rhythm that I would have with somebody else. It just throws you off for the day. And that's just the way it is. And you understand that because if you have to work with others, if it's a job where you're partners and you have to work with somebody new, it's like breaking in somebody else, even if you know them well, even if they do the job. You're just out of that routine. The whole day gets thrown off. So you getting up and going to work, you getting up, just means a lot. Like you might stop. There might be a little stop that you stop at, and get coffee or a donut or something, and people look for you to come in, not just because your business. They appreciate that. That's what keeps them there. But they enjoy seeing your smiling face or your laughter or whatever it is. And when you're not there, when you walk in the next time, they go, "Hey, we missed you yesterday." That's kind of a nice feeling to know that people are looking for you. Like it's the world is not right unless they see you. And in saying all that, then there's a day where we're not there. Life has moved us on. We went on to our eternity, and that it just changes everything and changes everything in a big way. So today is a big deal. If you're there and you're hearing my voice, you are important, and you do serve a great purpose out in this world, and in many ways, in ways you cannot even imagine. Some people may set their clock by you. You don't even know it. They're looking up about the time that you usually pass by or stop in or whatever it is. Like, yeah, there they go, right on time. There's well, for a while, I don't know if they still are, but I'm dropping one of the kiddos off at the high school, and it's probably because we've been a little bit off. Because you're hurting. It's hurting kids is like hurting cats. It's like let's go, let's go. But there was we were dropping off right behind the same person every day, and I was like, wow, our timing is absolutely the same. Like we're getting here and they're right in front of us every single day at drop off. That means their rhythms. It's all the same. It's like you notice stuff like that. Your patterns, your rhythms, and it's just I don't know. There's something about it. It just makes you feel like it's everything's the way it's supposed to be. I don't get it. It's weird, but it makes sense in the cosmic way of things. So good morning out there on Podbean. We're going live to you this morning, and Cornbread Man Morning Show. This is sometimes I do a lot of Cornbread Man Morning shows, but just on radio or MP3. But on video, I do those on Tuesdays. So this show is the Cornbread Man Morning Show with Dave in the AM. And I had a good show last night. I want to appreciate everybody that came in to relationships on Mama Said. Miss Elizabeth, Miss Jeneth, James coming in. He'd been there earlier. It's my fault. I was supposed to text him. I forgot. See, I got out of rhythm. I messed him up. But he made it. And then Robert and myself, we had a good time. Tonight will be, among other things, I didn't do a live TikTok last night, or I'm still, like I say, I'm still kind of getting back to me, and I was just beat. I went straight to bed. Like after the show, I went straight to bed. That's unusual for me. I'm usually a night owl. I'll stay up past the 12:30, 1 o'clock is a normal time for me to go to bed. Not last night. I just went on and went to bed. So it's just the way it is. But probably tonight. But we will be 8 o'clock. We will be Southern Claws and Paws with Miss Jeneth, our new pet show. This will be episode number 3. Looking forward to where we can go with this. It's exciting. If you are a pet owner, a pet lover, animal lover of any kind, stop by. Even if you're not, stop by. You might learn. You're gonna learn something because I learn something every week, and it's a lot of fun, and we're having fun with it. Miss Jeneth is a great co-host, and I appreciate her very much doing this. I kept telling her forever. I said, "You got to be a co-host. You got to be. You just got to be." She's like, "I don't know, maybe." And I was like, "You got to come on. You just got to. You're going to do great things." And finally found something that she felt comfortable with, and she's doing great things. And so I appreciate it. I haven't heard back from my vet friend, or I say friend, my vet yet. I'm trying to get the veterinarian to come on once a month. I will have one. I'm trying to get a particular one, and I haven't been able to get them fully on board yet, but we're working on it. So sometimes you got to work a little bit harder on stuff. Well, we're officially, we're officially in this fall weather, and first day of fall has came, and we are now in the cooler temperatures. For the most part, there's still going to be those days where it gets a little warmer, but it's nice. The morning temperatures, you can just feel the change in the air. It's really nice, and it just makes things different. The change of seasons. I like that. A lot down here in the South, we have a lot of the fall color cruises, and I like the change, and and it's a little bit. It can be a little bit depressing when you think about all the leaves and stuff. Once they fall on all the trees, I look so dead. About that time, Halloween comes along, and you're like, it's just this sense of deadness, But it's like, wow. But then you get into the whole, the cold of winter, and it's gloomy, and and you don't want to get up, and then we have the hope of spring. So, but it's beautiful, and winter's beautiful in its own way. This, like I say, the temperatures have cooled off. We're down to that point where it's 80s, 60s, or something like that. Depending on where you're at. I know that would fluctuate. I don't like to give my particular area of weather because we have people listening from all over the world. So, but for us, that's kind of where this region. I'll just say this region. That's kind of where we're at, and about and it won't. And really, I expect probably within the next couple of weeks, it's going to be 70s, 50s. So that'll happen pretty quick. So hopefully for you, you'll see those same kinds of things. But that's coming. That's coming. It's just I like it. I like it a lot more. Football this weekend. If you like football, there'll be a lot of football, American football, college and pro. As we get a little bit deeper in the season on the sports front, the Braves have been on a winning streak. Go figure, too late for them, but it's nice to know that they can finally put a winning streak together. That's always nice. Maybe next year, as I always say, there's some surprises out there, but most of the teams are playing about where we expected them to for both leagues. And it won't be long. We'll be getting back into some of the other sports that it's their off season, and we're deep in the heart of the playoffs for NASCAR. Me and Dean for the Southern Fried Racing Hour and our SFP Sports. That'll be Thursday, 5:30, 6-ish. We haven't decided on a time. Probably 5:30 because we're doing two shows, and that has right behind it the Cornbread Nation show. And I'm really working. Like I said, I've just had a lot of plates spinning, but we have a couple of new shows, and we're just fixing to get them off the ground. A history show, and I've been saying it, but it's coming. And the music talk show, that is coming. There's some things behind the scenes that are happening. We're getting ready for the first series of shows. I think Barry's, I don't know if he's in here this morning, but Barry is doing some research and he wants to help. He doesn't want to be on screen, but audio wise, he's going to come and we're going to talk history. He's a big history guy too. And for those of you that watch us, Barry. So I'm looking forward to that. Love to talk history, and we'll be glad to have you come in. That's and loosely, we've got another show that'll be probably monthly or something right now, but they can check it on any time. We're working on a Appalachian Trail check-in that we're wanting to do. So, and we'll combine that with some other shows at times, but we will definitely be looking at. Definitely looking at a show where we're talking to folks up and down the trail, and we're putting the plans together on that now. We so much enjoyed Dog Tag checking in with us, and we like people all the way through that journey to be kind of letting us know what's going on. Yeah, some big games, Broski. Penn State, Oregon, and Georgia, Bama. That's that you don't get much bigger than that. I mean, really. I would think that Penn State is. I think they'll win that game over Oregon. And nothing against Oregon. I think they're a fine team and they're doing very well. Dan Lanning and all, but I just think Penn State is. I mean, they just got that look. That they're the dog on that. But I would. Who knows between Georgia and Alabama? I really don't know. I think Georgia's still finding themselves in some ways. And of course, Alabama's had some hiccups, but it's just one of those things. People get healthy a lot of times when we come to town. I mean, or wherever we play. I don't know. I think it might be at Sanford, but we play worse at home sometimes than we do on the road. But I would hope that. I just hope it's a good game. Be a lot of chatter this week. It has been a little bit already. As we see, Alabama's on the. They're not real happy with their new coach. This would go a long way for him if he was to beat Georgia. He would be good until Auburn, even if he struggled a little bit. He has to beat Georgia and he has to beat Auburn if he has any hope of staying around. That's the way I view it. I don't care how much money they give him. They got a lot of money. They can buy him out. If he's already had, this hiccup. And if he lose this one, it's going to be, not good. And you can't lose to Auburn. If Auburn's been playing better, even though they lost last week. And of course they should have won really, but we'll get into that later on Sports Show. But I think that, you have to win those games. That's just the alumni, the boosters and all that. They're not going to put up with an Iron Bowl loss and a Georgia loss and a Florida State. That's just, they're going to be starting thinking this guy's he's not the guy. He's not the dude. We need to get rid of him. I don't care what it costs us. Let's move on. Next. And Dabo Swinney and Clemson's in trouble. I mean, I don't know that he can survive the season. He can't. He has to win out now. Any hope he has to win out. If he loses to another rival of some kind, another somebody that they should beat, that's or they're just going to put up with it. No matter what he's done there, and he's had a great career there. They turn on you pretty quick. They're like, well, you've kind of worn your welcome. I mean, you were good for a time, but it's kind of moved past you. And this is kind of hard. When they always say in the SEC, and maybe it's the way in all of them, but in the SEC, they always said once you reach the 10-year mark, the 10-year mark of being a coach, you've kind of shown a lot of what you. We had those coaches that stayed 30, 40 years, but that's kind of dead now because the money and because people are. They're not waiting that long. They're not going to let you go through a 10-year losing streak. They're just going to go, or 5 years, whatever. They're kind of sick of that. So they're ready to move on no matter what you've done, if you've won a couple of championships. After about 10 years, they kind of figure, well, they've pretty much shown us all they've got. And you better be winning. As long as you're winning, you're okay. If you start losing, then they're thinking, well, I just don't think, I think it's moved past him. And especially if they're stubborn, they're not wanting to make changes, or they're just not able to pull the recruits like they used to. Of course, that could be money as well. It might not be their fault. But once you start losing that, and I think Dabo, he's a high, energetic guy. He has that all shucks, Bubba kind of thing. And my opinion is that works well when you're winning. It doesn't work well when you're losing. It wears on people pretty quick. It's like, oh yeah, he's a nice guy, but he's not elite. And I'm a little bit sick and tired of hearing, the same old cliches. We're working hard every day. We're going back to the drawing board. Hey guys, we've been there before, and that that amped up stuff he does. I just think it wears thin on a fan base. Once you start losing, I think you could be in trouble. Broski Bear, LSU, Ole Miss. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. And well, it's some of these teams like an LSU. Are they really? Are they really looking? Are they as good as what they sort of seem, or is because they do have the NFL future NFL quarterback. I think he'll be drafted pretty high and plays. South Carolina's quarterback, although Young will be another one that'll be going, but he's definitely got that pedigree. And where's Ole Miss at? In that. So we'll see. But she said, I think Dabo's hoping Bama or Florida reach out to him. I would not be surprised at all, my man. I would not be surprised. In fact, if Dabo doesn't here's what I think. Dabo's got to hang on and look solid enough. He needs a rebound just enough during the time that Bama might be thinking about dumping their guy. Because they're already thinking about it. There's no doubt they're thinking about this has been a mistake. He has, like I said, if things went downhill, if Dabo was just because he's a hometown boy. I mean, it's a great story. And at one time, I think he would have loved to have that chance. He stayed there and has had a great career. But I think that is definitely Bama thinks that way. I mean, they're willing to bring in outsiders as long as they're winning. If they're winning, they'll make you one of them. They certainly did with Saban, legendary. But they've traditionally went, with the people that came up through their system, the Bear Bryant's pedigree, sort of like Saban's guys. But Dabo's definitely he's definitely he's got that hometown touch. I mean, he was there, and it's a great human interest story of how he got through college and everything, and he's an American success story. And whether people like him or not, he is, and it's he worked his butt off. I can say that. And it would be a great tie as long as he came back and won. He could be a hero coming back to Alabama. It's like, yeah, Clemson had him for a while, but he's coming home. But he don't want to come in looking real bad. I mean, he's got to he can't have a horrible season. I think now Florida might be different, but there's changes coming. Florida's coach is not going to make the season either. Clemson and Florida will be making changes before the year is out, I think. It might be a little bit later in the season, but it's coming. Florida's coach is imminent. I mean, I just think it's imminent. This experiment has not worked. He's definitely a good coach at every level he has been. It's just not worked. He's got a lot of talent. Florida has recruited well. He does not. It is not a question of talent. They've not been able to put it all together. But anyway, I plan on talking sports this morning, but it's cool. I like it. Usually do that more when Rob's not around anyway. But not that he don't like. So he just likes Georgia. So, but you're right. I think Florida is imminent, and that guy's a good coach. I mean, he's he cut his teeth not far from here. I mean, where I'm at, and he's highly thought of, and people think the world of him. They didn't like him being at Florida so much, but it's just not worked, and it may. That's not even really maybe indicative of him. It's just Florida's not done good for a while. I mean, I don't know what it is. They've lost the mojo. They really have. They've had a big win here and there, but they've really lost it. Nobody fears Florida coming into town like they used to. Remember the Spurrier years? I mean, they roll into town, and that fun and gun and all that. I mean, whether they liked it or not, teams were worried about how they were going to cover all them receivers. I mean, they had two starting squads for on that. They had receiver after receiver after receiver, and the quarterback room was deep too. And that's not the case anymore. Maybe that's hard to do in today's money, the way the money is, and players can transfer and all that. I get it. There's a difference there. But most teams have, two or three. Florida seems like they just aren't really prepared for that next guy, and the guy that's in there struggling, all world talent. And it's just not. Of course, it's a different kind of offense. I get it. A little bit different type of offense. But Broski says Dabo has already lost the locker room. His players have stopped playing for him. Dabo needs a change of scene, but he needs to start using the portal too. And Dabo's telling me, yeah, you're right. It's a great point. There was a lot of talk about that in the last year or so about the portal and where he was behind on that. That's not good, and he'll have to fix that. Because if there's one thing Bama will do, if Bama wanted to look at him, Bama will not want that. They will go out and grab who they need to grab. That was hard for Saban, but he adapted. He definitely adapted. There's two ways and I still think it kind of passed him by just a little bit. He was frustrated there at the end, even though he was still playing a fairly high caliber. His teams was it. You could almost see it. Like he hated. Saban absolutely hated the hurry up offense. He couldn't stand that. He likes the pound and ground and all that. He likes he plays. He wants to play on a lot of different levels and just match up and just beat you to the ground the whole game. But he adapted to that. He brought in offensive coordinators that would get to that. That's just not what he wanted. And if he ever had a chance to change a rule, that hurry up offense is dead. If he ever got influence, he hates it. At one time, I mean, the pay for players was a big deal for him. He hated that, and I think most people believe that's one of the reasons he got out. He hated that, and he would tell people, well, if where's the loyalty? He was big on that. You come to play for Saban. He didn't mind him getting a little bit of money, but this whole holding out for the highest bidder stuff, that ticked him off. So he moved on, and he's done well. I mean, he's positioned himself really well. I mean, him and Pat McAfee together. And oh, by the way, that Pat McAfee, if you like him or don't like him, it really doesn't matter. He's perfect. He is great for TV. He pulls the ratings up. He makes a dead, boring show go viral. I mean, this guy, that stunt he pulled, well, it may be, but still in your brain, you want to keep going. I mean, that's the thing. I get he was that age, and I told people that eventually, and Bama fans wouldn't listen to it. Oh, he's enjoying it. He'll coach till he's dead, Well, he didn't, but that stunt that Pat McAfee pulled where he jumped into the water, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That guy just brings life into the college, pregame and all that. So, crazy guy, and him and Saban matched together is absolute TV gold. So, but yeah, and there's nothing against Alabama's coach. I think he's really good. I think he'll probably do really good things, maybe even in the SEC. But he's in a trial by fire right now. He's at a place where if you're at a couple of schools, you're going to get a lot longer leash than you do at Alabama. It's just the way it is, and he's People kind of give you that first year pass, like, he was stuck with these players. He's been able to bring in a few, but you got to turn it around pretty quick. By the way, there used to be, and you know this, there used to be. Well, you used to get 4 years. They would always say, "Well, that's not his class. That's not his class." The portal changed all that. Used to be a coach came in and they had a 5 year plan, and as long as you were showing improvement each year, they didn't like they were losing some, but they would say, "Well, it's still not his class. It's not his full. The team is still filled with the former coaches." And they would say that year 5, it's all the guys except for you could have a person's been there for 6 years or something, but that's rare. That team is now yours, and that year 5, you better have put it together because that you had said this is how we're going to win. It's all your guys, and if you don't, then that was the time when a lot of them were let go. Year 5, that was a big deal. That's gone. That's gone. With the portal, that has shrunk down to 2 to 3 years. 3 years is probably the magic number because, and again, some of that is buyouts. It's how much money we give this person. But really, even that is the money people are willing to pay to get a guy out of town. A big school like that, they don't care. Just we'll get the money, get rid of this guy. Let's go get somebody else. And Saban leave them hit them really hard. I mean, they were fortunate to go get a guy of that caliber. Sure, I mean, his winning, and he won everywhere he was at, and he may still win there. But there's restlessness. I can tell you, there's restlessness in the nation because I'm around a lot of Bama fans, and I remember when he first got hired, there were people that really believed this about it because I said, well, it's going to be a big change for him. They said, not a problem. They're not going to miss a beat. He's a great coach. And he said Saban still has an office in the complex. He's going to be looking over this guy. No, he's not. He's doing his own thing. I'm sure there's advice that goes out by the university if I want to ask a question about something, but he's not going to do that. They really believe that, like that Saban was really the coach. This guy was just a figurehead and let Saban go off and, but that's what they felt about it. I said, that's not the way this is working. Well, you don't hear that out of them anymore. They're like, this guy's got to get it together. It's going to get him run out of town if he don't get this thing going. They're not willing to be sucky anymore. And they were, like a lot of schools, they got the sucky. I mean, years where you just knew you were going to suck. That's a tough thing. You can't do that at a school like that. They're not going to put up with it. They're going to find the money. They're going to move you on. Absolutely. Yeah, we talked about this one way back. They have, and people dog on them, but they better watch them because they're playing really well. And they're playing at Vanderbilt, which really is maybe the bigger story right now. Missouri is certainly deserving of that, but Vanderbilt is absolutely. We've said they've been building. They finally upgraded all their facilities and everything. They are putting a first-class product on the field up there, all the way from top to bottom. They, for years, didn't spend much money on their infrastructure around the football team. And I don't know how true it is, I heard the SEC pretty much came to them and said, look, you're going to have to start spending this. You make a lot of money in the SEC. You're going to have to start, really putting some money into this. If you want to be a part of this conference, you're going to have to, you can't just ride. You've got to be showing improvement and stuff. And to their credit, they have poured it on. They've got facilities that matches up with just about anybody out there. It's jam up, maybe with anybody. And it's a new day in Vanderbilt. And people can laugh at them if they want. They better watch them because they're putting a much better product on the field. And like I said, if you can get people to sort of go that way and the money's there, anything can happen. Well, I know it's still a medical, thing, but hey, you know what? That next doctor you were treated by at Vanderbilt might have been he might have been the offensive lineman or something there. He has a lot of football stories. He can tell you why he's treating you for your brain tumor or whatever. Yeah, Georgia Tech, give them credit. There's a lot of people still don't like, there's a lot of people, older people, remember Georgia Tech from the SEC. But there's been talk about them over the years coming back, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. Some people say no, never, never, never. And I even know Georgia fans who want them off the schedule, even though they say it's a rivalry. They don't even want the game anymore because they want the games to matter for implications in the playoffs and everything else. But if they can put a better product on the field, it is a great rivalry, but it's just been one sided for a long, long time. And I've heard voices here lately, I'm ready to move them off the schedule, So, as the SEC goes to that 9 conference game schedule, and one of your off conference schedule has to be of a certain level of opponent. A lot of people said we need to dump Georgia Tech. We need to get out of this. I don't know if that would ever happen, but there's people talking about it. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We're going to talk about some still catch up a little bit, and we won't be off that much anymore. But we missed some weeks there with the sports due to sickness, but we're kind of back on cycle now. We're on schedule, so we're still catching up a little bit on that side. And we had all kinds of Wi-Fi problems, or not Wi-Fi, but internet streaming problems the day we went to do sports. So it was a shortened show, but we're gonna jam it up, and we're even going to talk some fantasy sports here, not in that show, but in a different one here soon. Because I'm in fantasy sports. We have a Southern Fried fantasy league, and we still got to work on some owners and stuff, but we're putting it all there. It's an old league we had. We just put it in the Southern Fried, but we finally got that sitting out there, and looking forward to that. But yeah, it's fun, and I love this time of year as the weather changes and football is mostly the only game in town. That's cool. The baseball playoffs will be along soon, and those will be fun. Those October games, but then you just got football and hockey will be along, and that's a fun time. I like that. And we'll see where it's at. There's a lot of teams still looking to establish themselves and prove themselves. And what about old Arch Manning dogging up on the player on the ground? I mean, is he sort of feeling it because they've been bullying on him? But if come on, dude, Sam Houston, really? Let's see you do that when it's another big opponent. I kind of laughed at that. Like, okay, dude, you know what? Let's see, Arch. Let's see you do that when it's Georgia. If you're doing that when it's Georgia and you're beating them, okay, I got it. By the way, you're not going to be standing up when you do that, but you might do it. But it's that's not going to happen. I promise you. You're not going to stand there and be talking down to our player like that. It won't go good for you. Try it. Try that and see how that works. Just try it. I thought that was a weak move because of who it was. Everybody was like, "Oh, look at him! I didn't know he had that in him." Well, okay, let's see him do it against another SEC caliber AC, Ohio State or something. Let's see that happen against them. Let's see where you're at then, Bob. Oh man, I'm sorry. It's the old Manning stuff. It just kills me. They're great at what they do, but sometimes when they try to look a certain way, it doesn't play well. It never has. They are who they are. They're not intimidating in their physical presence. It's more in their ability to thread the needle and put the ball where most people can't put it. And but that physical mono standing up over you, I don't buy that for 1 minute. I don't. I just do not buy that. Arch Manning himself seems like a sheltered homeschool kid or more. Did you see the play where he hovered over the guy, flexing on him? Like, I'm surprised they didn't call a penalty. I didn't see the game. I just saw the highlight. I don't think they did. But I don't see that. I think you try that at a major top flight school, and I think it'll be a fight. It'll be a fight. There'll be an end zone fight going on. You try that. Like I said, you may get in the end zone. You may do it. That's football. Okay, we got it. Your scheme out, beat our scheme, whatever. You got your touchdown, celebrate, and go sit down. But you start flexing up on a player down on the ground and against a major college opponent, whatever the conference, you're going to find out real quick that's not going to play. That's the kind of thing they've downplayed too because of fights and stuff. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a brawl. You didn't see it? Go look at the play. He runs the ball in, and the guy ends up on the ground, the defender, and it's a penalty. It should be a penalty. You don't do that. They've stopped that because of the violence that it has caused in college football and NFL. They will call that one really quick, and he's over flexing on the guy, while he's on the ground, like bulldogging him, like yeah. It was the last game. Go look at it. It's pretty. They showed it a lot of times. That people laughed about. That's what made to me. It didn't look intimidating. People kind of laughed about it. Oh, look at Arch Manning. I didn't know he had that in him. Oh, look at him. He's flexing up on the guy, while he's down the ground talking smack. I thought, yeah, try that against another team, Bob. That's the thing about it. It's just, look, dude, you're killing this team. It's a buy me game, and really, I mean, come on. You know what? I get it. You're pumped up. You're in the game. You've been taking heat out there, and you that tells me he's felt it. He's felt that the pressure of what has happened, and then you flex up on this dude from his smaller school, and you're flexing up on him. Come on, man. Come on. It kind of reminds me when Charles Barkley was pushing around the African team that looked like they were, $150, 6 foot or 5'10", $150, and he's pushing them around. And even the other older NBA players are going, "Come on, dude, it's a bad look, man. Come on, man. They can't beat us. It's just not a good look. At some point, you just gotta have some sportsmanship. Go take you got in, celebrate with your team, pump, play to the crowd. But to try to intimidate on a small school like that on a player on the ground, I thought it was a weak moment for him. I don't like it, and then maybe I'm biased that way. But I think your quarterback, I think he's felt the pressure. He's heard the chatter, and that was kind of like his moment to get him back, and he was using that guy as a way to look tough. But you do that against Georgia when it comes time for Georgia or in the playoffs or something, they're going to have a stoppage of play because it's going to be on, and all the players are going to get involved. It won't play well. It will not play well. He may do it. I ain't saying he won't do it. But I'm telling you, it won't be like that. It will not end that way. He'll come out with a torn jersey or something. He'll have his moment to look tough because he's going to look tough after he gets hit because he'll get hit and they'll come at him. There'll be an extra special sack. We'll just say something will happen in the game. You do that, and long memories by them folks. And they'll take the penalty, whether the coach gets mad or not. They'll take the penalty to lay the hit on that. That's just the way it is. There's a code. Whether you like it or not, there's a code in sports. You violate the code, and people don't understand that. It's like baseball. They got all these codes, and they cannot stand the home run trot where you're playing off, and dancing and, showboating and showing up the other players. They just take your bases and you can have a little fist pumps and all that, but so these players today, they're making that like a deal. Like, we're dancing around the bases. We're stopping and doing backflips or whatever. They don't like that. That's a plunk waiting to happen. That's part of the code. The code is you don't showboat like that. And maybe I'm wrong. Go look at it. Tell me what you think. I just thought, come on, man. Really? That guy? I think I almost looked intimidated himself. Like, what? I think it sort of shocked him. Like, he wasn't expecting it. Like, he's looking up at him like, what? and he just lingered there, for a little bit. I mean, a little longer. If you just look down and flex, that's one. But he sort of stood over him for a bit. It's a fine line. It's a fine line. And they'll even flag you for walking over a player. Like because that's a whole nother thing. It's like I'm stepping on you. I'm walking over you. I'm not putting my foot on you, but I'm walking over you like you're nothing. And they'll throw a flag because that kind of thing is a disrespect, and players take that personal, and they're just not going to put up with it. It's like, okay, you got me, but don't you dare, walk over me like that. Those are the kind of things, especially when you're talking about, quarterback. If they had done that to him, while he was on the ground, absolute penalty every single time. I don't think they threw a penalty on us. I think he got away with it. It'll be a penalty in the end because I'm telling you, it's going to be a brawl. He tries that. I've not seen him do that before, but I think he's been carrying around a lot of pressure. His pressure's built on him, and it's not done. That's not your measuring stick. When he comes out and absolutely destroys a top flight school, that'll be his true coming out party. That'll be the one where he goes, "Okay, I got it. I got you. Everybody, shut up." And there'll still be pressure there, but that's pressure with any quarterback with any school, top 10 school. But if you want to, he just picked the wrong school to do that on, and he better not do it against the bigger ones. But you let your play do the talk, and that's really so out of Manning character. That's really out of you don't see that. They're the ones always maintaining mental control, getting the team lined up. Getting your spot. Let's go. Almost like it's a coach on the field. And for him to do that was a little bit out of character for even the Manning family trust. So we'll see. I don't know. It's good talk. I enjoyed talking. No, I'm just saying, if you're that guy on the floor and he does that, what are you doing, broski? What are you doing? Are you going to take that? Are you going to let that guy hover over you while you fell backwards you're getting blocked, or he ran over you or whatever? Are you going to take that while you're in the end zone? You're going to let Arch Manning hover over you and showboat on you like that? I don't think you would. I think I know enough about Broski. He wouldn't let that happen. I just don't. I think it'll just let it happen again. It's funny to me. I thought it was funny. I just laughed. It's like, okay. It's okay. And I know a lot of people likened it to racism, and I can't say what was going on. But a lot of people didn't like Cam Newton. The showboat, the Superman stuff he was doing after he got a first down and stuff, that a lot of players got ticked off at that. And they always tried to say he wasn't getting the calls because of racism and all that. I can't say. Who knows what's in some official's heart? But I will say this. I think they get sick of that stuff too. And sometimes they just let stuff go. It's like, okay, big boy, you're Superman. All right, I'm going to turn my head. Superman just got drilled. I think it played in. They felt disrespected, and they hold a lot of power. And I think they just turned their head, and it's like, okay, go ahead. We're just going to turn our head. And he took a lot of violent hits that should have been called. They didn't throw the flag. So I had nothing against him. He was an amazing talent. But I have to admit, I didn't care for some of that stuff. Some of it was overboard. When you get a touchdown, that's one thing. When you are, seemingly half your play clock in the next play down there doing these Superman moves, ripping the thing open and first down. It's a first down, dude. I mean, do your little first down and get back. You're the quarterback. You got a job to do. But I do it. That's what I'm saying. That dude on the ground for Sam Houston, he wasn't a dog. I'm telling you, that would have been the perfect time to say, okay, we're not going to win this game anyway. You know what? But I'm getting a piece of you, bro. I'm going to get penalized. And who cares? We're losing. We already got paid. You're on the deck, man. It's on. You hover over me like that dude, he would have got up, and I can't believe it. I'm just telling you, I cannot believe it. It's just shocking. There's definitely been an effort by college football and NFL, even more, but more so college. We're not going to put up with those actions which are, denigrating to the other team because of fights. There were a handful of games that got out of control over the last couple years, and they really buckled down on this because it was ugly, ugly games, and they had a hard time getting through the game. There was a lot of penalties or fines, and the competition committee really tightened up on this and said, we're just not going to put up with that. This goes all the way back. You remember when they used to jerk their helmets off? They took that stance a long time ago in the leagues, both leagues. You don't pull your helmet off. But it got to be a bad thing where people, pulling their helmet off, showing their face. They said, no, they're not going to do that. They just didn't like the look. Cam would take the ball from whoever scored and give it to. Yeah, that's cool, which is messed up. If he wants to do that, he's scoring. But he definitely, yeah, he definitely. I mean, that giving it to him, but he did have that problem where he wanted to be the center of attention, and I'd be watching the games, and I'd be like, can we just go back to the huddle? I mean, you've got a first down, you got some tough yards, you did good, but there's the next play, and I saw times where they would get a penalty for the clock running out, and it's because he was showboating and he got back to the huddle late. They're trying to get the play into him and to the team, and they would be late getting lined up. And they get a penalty. I think, dude, you just hurt your team, and he has a responsibility, and I just after a while, but amazing talent, one of the most talented people I've ever saw play, no doubt. Absolutely amazing talent. I wouldn't give you 2 cents for his old man because I think he was as low down as they come. He was selling his kid out the highest bidder and putting half of it in his pocket. But I just think that there was a lot of problems there with the dad, and Cam still has some problems out there. Remember the blow up with the kids and stuff. He has to like he's got a bad ego. I mean, he's a bad ego. Yeah, that person who scored wouldn't even be able to spike the ball because Cam would take it from him. Yeah, and that's silliness. It really is silliness. Really is silliness. And I got to go off here, but I'll say this now. It's this. When a team scores, you got the players that surround them want to celebrate, but they got to wait for the player to get through their little routine. They're standing there like, okay, or they're a part of it. But a lot of times they'll be the first guy there. He's waiting like, okay, he's got now we can celebrate. They got to do all their little moves and stuff, and then it's like, oh, now we can celebrate. It's this choreographed celebration. Some of it's good, some of it's, I could care less. But anyway, well, let's have a great day out there, America. Yeah, that's true, Broski. They couldn't stand him. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, that's what I saw. But have a great day out there. Kick butt as an American today. Act like you're an American. Let's root out corruption and evil and fraud and illegals and everything else wherever we find it. Protect the kids today. Stand up. Be a man. Don't let the world push you around. Be that person. Be that dog in the room today and say, not on my watch. It's gonna be good today. Protect the weak. Stand up for the those that are intimidated. Be that today. Stand up for them. And project strength because that's what we are. We're strong. We're Americans. We don't back down from nothing. Right. We'll see you tonight. We've got at least one show, maybe two. And looking forward to a great day. Thank you so much for your support of the SFP. I've enjoyed being. I got to take some kids to school, so we'll see you tonight. And sorry, we just talked sports today. That's okay. That's all right. I enjoyed it. It's good to shake things up and do things a little different. So sometimes it's good to let some other things go and talk about just some things that are fun. That kind of feeds our soul, are what we enjoy. We enjoy those things. So, all right, take care. God bless. We salute you, America. And if you're from around the world, we salute you too. Take care.